good here. Someone said everything is good here, and the other guy said we can hear and see. So hopefully
Oh,
we're alive now, I think.
oh, well, hey everyone.
Hey everyone. Sound and
Got my
picture
spiffy
is up.
headphones on.
I think it actually we just got it up, so good stuff. Wow, this has been now is this is amazing. I've been sitting up here for the last couple of hours trying to get this thing to work. And last time it worked so good, and then Google has come up with some kind of updates, and supposedly there's something different. So we try to fix it, and but it seems to work now. So let's just get on with it.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. How's San Diego?
Oh man, I mean, I'm sitting outside in this beautiful garden thing here, just kind of chilling. Just dropped my power cord, but yeah, I'm living. Happy
That's
to be
lovely.
here.
That's lovely. Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here. I'm in actually in Norway, north of Europe. For those of you who don't know where that is, Scandinavia, right next to Sweden. We have some beautiful women here, and starting to get some beautiful
Yes, you
weather here
do.
as well. Yeah, you were here in last year, first time, right?
Yeah, what was it last October? Yeah,
Yeah,
we had a great time. Just I spoke at the Morten Hake Summit, and we had probably about 200 people there, and this massive weekend of transformation, and people were, having life-changing experiences at that event. So it was really cool just to spend the weekend and really the whole week just coaching people, answering questions, helping people out, meeting with people outside the summit, having coaching people at the programs you're doing with your. It's pretty cool, guys. Morton takes entire households of applicants, and people like quit their job for 4 months and just change their entire life to go into an immersion of self-development for 4 months that they work with Morton and his partner Canute like every day to just become their best selves. It's pretty damn impressive the level of commitment some of these guys are showing towards really taking control of their life, and that was really inspiring for me to see. I loved it. It was awesome.
that's cool. But I mean, that's also why I wanted to. I got a hold of you and do this webinar things because I know that you also your like what you help guys do is really transformational, and it sometimes I mean it has to take time, and people have to go all in and full immersion. I really believe that if you want real change, you have to change everything, and you're definitely an ambassador when it comes to that, and that's what I love about you,
Mm.
and that's why we connect so good, and that's why so many guys who've been at my summit, they attended your True Man Academy, and so many guys who, are following you on YouTube. They also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there's overlapping because guys understand that,
Yeah, it's not a I think everybody here, if the people that I sent this out to were only the cream of the crop, so to speak, on my list. So everybody who's here, like, what's up, everybody? These are the guys who've been with me for a long ass time, who've been through, I don't know, probably 100 emails of mine telling them about how to like change from the inside out, and how it's not about pickup lines and bullshit, but it's about being a man. It's about being your greatest expression of truth out in the world. And so um, we got some solid attendees here who are definitely gonna love whatever it is we're putting out there. They're on board.
that's
We don't have
awesome.
the mystery method pickup artists here who are like practicing their magic tricks on the side while they watch the webinar. You know,
Exactly, exactly.
no hating or anything, but it's just not our style.
That's good. That's good. And I mean, that's basically our. I want to. So, okay, guys, you need to bear with me today because, again, the technical challenges has been huge. So I'm gonna share my screen, and on my computer I have this PowerPoint, and I'm gonna that's kind of our slides for today, and I might have to jump back and forth, and that's. But anyways, just follow, bear with me, and we'll be fine. All right. And also, you can be interactive on the chat and ask questions, especially later on. We're gonna answer some questions, and yeah, feel free to ask questions on the chat. Hold on, I'll see if I can get this to work. Bam.
Oh yeah,
Can you see that now?
I see it.
Okay, cool.
Become a real, authentic, honest, and attractive man women can't resist.
Boom, and please turn up your volume. I'm gonna go through these first slides very fast, and let's get to the nitty-gritty, so we don't have to wait for that. But this webinar really is about becoming a real, authentic, honest self, and that way become more attractive to women. So we have picked out 4 clips from the summit. Some video clips that we think are very powerful and very impactful, some clips that you are on, and some other speakers that you spoke on the same stage. And then we're basically just going to watch them together. Initially, we were going to watch them through this system, but what we have to do now, which is going to be a challenge, but just have to be that way today, is that I'm going to post a link on the chat, and then we're going to watch it together, and then we're going to come back to the webinar, and then we're going to comment on it, and yeah, that's the way we're going to do it, unfortunately, but I think it'll be fun.
Cool.
All right, so yeah, this is what we're gonna. This is the videos we're going to show today. I'm going to talk about something that is important to me, about the difference between being an attractive guy and trying to attract women. And I'm going to show a clip of Steve Pavlina, who talks about how you can change your relationship with, or how changing your relationship with life itself will change your relationships. Andy Osha is going to talk about how his story about how he kind of took off his mask and that way grew to become very attractive and kind of the next level. And you're going to talk about, well, let's leave it as a surprise. I think you know what we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
All right. Men in our world have never been so confused in their dating life as today. And just like you said earlier, your guys has already been through, I mean, your guys have been through like hundreds of your emails, and they are next level guys. So I'm not going to waste any time on this intro and telling my story and yada yada. So I'm just going to go through this very, very fast. A lot of guys actually, yeah.
So maybe I could just tell your story real quick as the quick version of it, of what I understand. Because there's something that just impressed the shit out of me with what you and some of the people in Norway have done. So Morten's been teaching dating and confidence to guys for, what is it, like 2-3 years now? You've been teaching it, and 4 or 5 you've been studying it?
Yeah.
Right. So just the tenacity with which Morten and people that he's taught have gone out and just made this happen as a matter of, this is what I declare will happen in my life, and I refuse to take no for an answer. They're just such a prime example of this, because, like, you know, so a lot of guys are like, oh, approach anxiety, right? Like, this is a real thing to conquer. These guys went out and did 100 approaches, what was it, 50 a day or 100 a day?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah. No, the first time we had a 6-month thing. Then we did it. We approached girls 6 hours a day, and then the second time, a year after, we actually approached 50 women. 50. It had to be over 50. So between 50 and 100 women every day.
A day, right? So like thousands of approaches, or like, you know, hundreds a month, or thousands a month. It's just like insane. So there's a lot of guys out there who talk a good talk, and then there's guys out there who've lived it, who've experienced it, who know from experience what's real, what's not, what works, what doesn't. Um, and the thing that I think also makes Morton an awesome teacher is that he did have that real experience, and he did come from a place of personal confusion and self-doubt and a lack of confidence, and then he built himself up to be the man he wants to be in the world. And the thing that I see in this arena, and really in any arena of self-development, is that if you haven't lived it, you have no idea how to teach it. Right? If it's always been natural and easy for you to get girls, and a guy who's having trouble goes, "Hey man, like what are you doing? Like how do you get success?" He'll be like, "I don't know, man. Like just be cool." Right? Like he has no concept of what he's doing because he's never had to break it down conceptually because it's always just been easy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I think the power in working with you and the people that you teach is that it's like you've lived it, and you're real with it, and you've come from where everybody else is, and you've gotten to where everybody else wants to be, which is that place of like, you know, you've got a great girl in your life, and you have just complete abundance, and it's not even the kind of thing you would even ever think about. And then, I mean, it transcends into all other arenas of your life, into business, into health, into everything else, you know, just like the stuff I talk about. So that's Morton's story. He's lived it, he teaches it, and he puts on this amazing summit every year where speakers from all over the world, myself included, come to share their knowledge and help people transform. And he's done it 3 years in a row, and it's been bigger every year, every single year, and raised a bunch of money for charity. And it's you know, it's unlike anything else out there in this community. So very impressive thing to have under your belt.
Well, thank you. I mean, that was an amazing introduction, and I'm grateful for you recognizing it. And I could say the same thing about you. I mean, it's all about walking the walk, right? And it's all about learning by doing instead of trying to have the perfect approach before you actually take some action, right?
Yeah, I think we'll probably get into that in today's content, right?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so let me see if I can share this again. I mean, I just want to start off by talking about when playing games. I mean, there's a big concept about when playing games, she will also play games. It's like there's become a huge industry filled with people who don't really walk the talk, right? So instead of like um, so we end up trying to hide behind all this nonsense to be attractive. You're trying to build up um, a spectrum, like kind of like a foundation that is not solid, right? There's a foundation of tricks and gimmicks instead of a foundation of actually building on your core confidence. And I want to start off by watching this little video. Guys, bear with me here. And I'm putting the video in the chat box now. Can you see that, Noah?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's clickable too.
For some reason my name is wrong, but anyways, it's clickable. So okay, people still have issue with this being.
It's all right. Everybody, keep going on it. You'll get it eventually. I think most people have it at the moment.
Okay.
And if we knew what we were doing on our side, I'm sure we'd give you better advice than, hey, keep going, you can do it. But that's kind of where we're at right now. So,
Okay, so for people who are not, I mean, what we will do is I will make a promise that this content I will get delivered to you anyhow, just as my promise, because this is good enough. But for those of you who are with us and everything is working, then click the link I'm pasting in the chat now and watch that video. It's a 7-minute video, and it's, I just clicked the link and waited till it started and refreshed it. Okay, sounds good.
cool. All right, so should we start now?
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
start.
I'm going in.
Let's start the video right now.
Looking from me from an outside perspective, I might have looked very successful in terms of women, but I felt crap. I was scared, I was insecure, and I wasn't real with the girls, I wasn't real with the guys, I wasn't real with myself, most importantly. It was all just getting bigger and bigger, and it's like this big bubble ready to burst, right? So what I figured out was that I had to. Fortunately, like this is a big lesson. Oh, no battery, shit. Fortunately, and this is a big lesson, I had my mentors around me. I had people around me that could support me and help me. Some of the guys who have spoken here the last 2 years, I had those people around me. So I built up the courage to tell them, like, all this time, all you've been helping me is great, but really, to be honest, I don't want to disappoint you, but to be honest, I feel crap. This is like, there's so much worrying, like, what should I, what if this happens? What should I text her? What if someone say that I'm wrong? It was all these kind of worries all the time. And I told my coaches, and basically what happened is I started a completely new journey. A completely new journey towards figuring out who I am and more of a becoming an attractive man instead of attracting girls. Do you see the difference? See the difference? Yeah. So I was invited in 2008 to come to the Real Men Conference in Amsterdam. And that's where I met people like San and Johnny, who's going to talk here, and also Orlando Owen. There were some other speakers there that literally changed my, completely blew my perception of how dating and relationship and self-development and self-realization can work. It was completely different. Like, guys talking about honesty and talking about passion, talking about loving women. And I'm like, how? That's not gonna get me laid. You know? Funny thing is that it is, though. And guys talking about it, and I remember coming back. I was so inspired. I had so many new thoughts, and I was like, so everything has built up to this. Everything I've learned until now is wrong. I have to start all over. And I came back to Norway, and I was like, guys, have you heard about this? And have you checked out these speakers? And the response was like, yeah, some of them were into it, but a lot of them was, I would say, stuck in a mindset of getting the girl. I don't know how to explain it better. But a lot of the guys, I couldn't get through to them. So that's why the conference started, because I wanted to change the pickup community. I soon figured out that maybe I shouldn't try to change the pickup community. Maybe we should try to create a valuable, growing community with women and men. That's why we asked how many women are here, because we want to attract as many women here as possible. And we've seen for every year there's more and more women here, and I love it. Because you can't, I mean, we have so much to learn from women, right? Sam Perrin's whole approach to women is talking to women, asking women questions. We have so much to learn from them. They probably have things to learn from us as well, but we can't sit in our gambit-making pickup cave and try to figure out how the women brain software works, because it isn't like that at all. I remember Knut always talks about, I was going to figure out my software, how to plug it into her software, and then it's on. Like, so that's where the conference started. And I feel that we're getting there. Really, really getting there. And that's also my kind of like my call for including other people, calling for you to have a higher standard in life when it comes to relationship, especially. Because this is like, yes, this is marketed in kind of like It's hard to market a conference like this. It's very easy to market a conference that is related only to pickup, because it's very juicy. It's very, very, very juicy and very marketable. But here I have to kind of make people want it, and then I need to make sure we deliver what they actually need. All right? But I can't market a conference saying, all right, guys or girls, come here and you will love more and like have passion. It's too general. It has to be like about relationship, and it has to be authentic, and it has to push a little. But the deal is that this conference actually relates to all relationships in your life, and that also includes your relationship to yourself, because it all connects. It all connects. I saw that when I started learning this, I started surrounding myself with those kind of people. My life completely turned upside down. Completely turned upside down. I learned like the power, like one thing, the power of just forgiving. The power of forgiving. I was like, that has nothing to do with girls. Nothing, right? Wrong. It does, completely. Forgiving has everything to do with picking up chicks. And it was about forgiving myself for all the years I've wasted. It was about forgiving my family. It was about letting go of the ambition to be perfect. Kind of forgive all the mistakes you do. Kind of forgive all the mistakes other people do. Because holding on to something only like imprisons you, right? It only imprisons you, not the person you're angry at, or if it's yourself. Like it imprisons you. It's like you're in a chain. Until you forgive, that chain's gonna stay on. And walking around with a chain is not very hot, is it? It isn't very attractive. Girls can feel this. Girls have like 10 times more intuition than we do normally. They can feel if there's something you're missing, man. It's easy.
All right. You there, Noah? I can't hear
Hey,
you.
can you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can hear you now.
I guess I clicked the wrong thingy here. Okay, cool.
All right. Cool.
Good video, my man.
All right. So for me, this is basically all about manipulating girls leads you down a very slippery path, right? Because if you're not honest from the get-go, and a lot of people get very, very good at pretending, even for a longer period, even for a week or for a month, but sooner or later, the girl will figure out who you really are, right? And then she will be so disappointed. And not only will she be disappointed, but she's kind of like a mirror for you, right? So she will also be, you will also disappoint yourself and lose even more confidence. And that's what I try to get through in this video. So it's kind of like goes back to the old saying, like short-term pleasure versus long-term pain, right? If you're not real with Did you hear me there? You lost me, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Canute muted us. He's playing games over there. So you said if you're not real with something?
Then not only will you lose confidence when both you and other people figure out who you are, for real who you are, but also
Right.
you will walk around like afraid that people will figure out who you really are and bust you for the guy that you really are, you know?
Yeah, well, see, I see this a lot actually with my tribe and even some of my more advanced or more developing members who've gone through some of my longer, more transformational programs like True Man Academy and things like that,
Mm.
they talk about how, and the person I'm talking about is going to know, so thank you, though, for inspiring this, because this is not just you. This is everybody. This is many people, and this is going to benefit many people to hear. They talk about how, like, I've done all this inner work, I've really worked hard on myself, and, like, and I'm still not getting the chicks, and, like, what am I missing? And, like, basically just the fact that you're still so focused on getting the chicks is what you're missing. It's like I guess there's two sides of it, right? Like on one side, sex is in our biology. Sex is natural. Sex is something that everyone deserves. Sex is something that everybody wants. It's our strongest biological urge, right?
Mm.
On the other hand, people aren't goals. People aren't results. People are people, right? And so if you're coming from a mental state of like feeling the biological urge, then processing in your mind what is my need, and then logically determining how to create that need being met, you're now looking at people not as people because there's no love there, right? And so then the other way to process it would be like biological need showing up, recognizing that it's just a biological need, and just allowing it to be. Right? It's okay that I feel that. I don't need to like necessarily go like make a result happen just to make a result happen. It's just natural. It's normal, right? But then connecting out with the world with your heart, and if sex with a girl happens that night, then cool. And if it doesn't, then also cool. But that all comes from just being real with yourself and your true actual desires. And the only way that you can get there is by actually loving yourself. That's exactly what you're talking about. It's about being an attractive man versus attracting women, right? When I was attracting women and I had taken all the time to put in all the effort to become confident enough to attract women, I still didn't love myself, and so I was still actually damaging myself. I would maybe go home with a girl who wasn't actually 100% like attractive to me, right? Just because it was like, oh, this is some underlying program that's like this will make me successful or cool because like I took a girl home from the bar or whatever, right? Or just like going out and doing things that I didn't even actually want to do simply because I have these results on my mind, right? Going out to bars, even though there was nothing about going out to the bar that actually interested me except for potentially going and creating a result for myself, right? And none of that is what an actual attractive man does. Because he loves himself. Why would he go out and do something he doesn't want to do? Just because there's girls there. Great, there's girls everywhere. Attractive man who loves himself has infinite supply of women in his life. They come from everywhere. They come from the grocery store, from the gas station, from the networking event, from the yoga class, from the softball league, from the street, from like you don't have to go do something you don't want to fully do because you need to create a result. And that doesn't even just mean the bars. That means anything. And that is all a symptom of the problem of not loving yourself fully, which is, I think, exactly what you were going for in that video. Is that it's like, and the other thing, the last thing I'll say is that when you made that realization and that change of like, whoa, like I'm building up a bunch of bullshit and now it's time to shift, did you notice that it was like a healing process for yourself? Like you actually did damage to yourself when you were like Mr. Pickup Man?
Yeah.
And you had to like heal yourself to remember who you really are again? That was what I experienced.
Definitely. It was more like it was kind of like a relief, because when I was manipulating, it was always something. I was always like, why am I not feeling amazing? Why do I always feel like I'm not good enough? Why do I always feel like I have to prove something? Why did I say that? I didn't actually mean that. Why did I lie and even brag to my friends and lie there even, and all that just continuously like kind of like brought me down, and I had that big realization. I could kind of relax and at the same time become more laid back just as a natural result, and it was just like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was definitely like it took pressure off to not have some expectation. Like, I even had like a pen name. Oh, big ass bee just flew by me. I even had like a pen name, so like, it was like almost like an alter ego, like, oh,
Mm.
Kurt Spelling, right? So, I love all you guys who started following me back then, but that was, a less mature version of myself I saw over time. Because it would be even like my friends would be like, oh, who's coming out tonight? Like Kurt Spelling on the patrol, right? And that meant like Kurt Spelling's coming out, right? That means like, oh, there's some results to go produce, right? But it was
Yeah.
overall, it wasn't real, and it never got me the results I wanted.
Mm.
Regardless of if you want one girl or many girls in your life, you won't get the kind of caliber of girl that you'll get once you love yourself and stop caring about having to get girls in order to validate something about you.
So
You know?
true. So true. Awesome. All right, let's head on to the next video. I'm gonna paste it into the chat again. Here we go, and it's a video of Steve Pavlina, which is, I think, the most read self-development author on the web. He has millions of readers, and he's a great what's it called, speaker, and he has so much, like, this is deep, so keep focused, guys, and we'll click the video and we'll start it in 5 seconds. All right.
All
3.
right.
Let's start the video now.
All right. What I want to do next is share with you some different ways of thinking about aspects of this relationship with your environment, with your reality. But first I want to ask you, where do all of your human relationships exist? Where are they? In your mind? That's one way to think about it. Do your relationships actually exist out there? I mean, if somebody went and deleted your memories of a relationship, would the relationship still exist? That's a good question. If you didn't remember that you had a relationship, do you have a relationship? Who thinks yes? Who thinks no? We have a lot of confused then. Not sure. That's good, though. That's good. I do think it's helpful to see it that way. If you think of your relationships as existing in your mind, as existing in your thoughts, you could say it's in your heart, it's in your being, it's within you, these relationships. Okay? At least the human aspect of these connections. We could say there's maybe a spiritual connection out there somewhere, okay? But the human aspect of how you relate to each other and how you connect and what you experience, what you perceive, that is entirely within you. Even this room, the sense perceptions you have, all that's being processed within your mind. The light and the sound. This whole experience is really just a simulation that's happening in your mind, an interpretation of signals. And on the one hand, we can say we can turn off your reality by turning off those signals, putting you in, say, a sensory deprivation chamber. But on the other hand, if we simply stop your mind's ability to process the signals, that also would turn off your experience of reality. Now, if your relationships exist in your mind or in your being, then who actually controls these relationships? You. And we have this tendency to think of relationships as something between us and something out there in reality. But think about it. Your whole experience of what's out there is actually in here. All your memories, all your thoughts, all your beliefs, all your experiences get processed in here or in here. And if that's the case, if it's all internal, if your entire experience of relationships can be thought of as completely internal, then you have the ability to transform them from within without needing the permission of anything out there. Okay? And particularly with respect to your relationship with life itself. I'm not suggesting necessarily you can go around controlling other people, but I am suggesting that certainly your relationship with life itself, which is just a concept, is entirely internal. And you somehow came up with words to describe this relationship, which is simply imaginary. What exactly is that? Can you point to your relationship with life? Where is it? Is it under the table over there? Is it, in the back of the room? Is it floating up in space somewhere? That relationship is entirely within you. So if you are creating the idea, and I do mean creating the idea, not observing the idea. If you are creating the idea that your relationship with life is based on conflict, struggle, frustration, disappointment, apathy, indifference, life has no choice but to say yes to that. No choice. It must say yes to that because that's what you've created inside you. There is no outer force that can knock that out. Does that make sense to some degree? A little bit hard to get your mind around that, perhaps? Okay? So if you think about your relationships as entirely internal, then you have the ability, you have the power to transform your relationships entirely from within. You don't need anyone else's permission. You don't need anyone to agree with you. You can simply do it. And it is simply a choice. Remember when Johnny mentioned that happiness is a choice? Okay? Well, even more broadly than that, your entire relationship with life itself is a choice. Okay? It's not an observation. We think that it's an observation. But if what we're seeing out there is really entirely processed in here, then we're not merely observing, we're actually creating that. Okay? And if you create the experience that life is stressful and a struggle, that is what you will see. That is what will show up. And if you create the experience that life is abundant and rich and flowing, that is what will show up.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give a few seconds for you guys to finish that video up. And I have some thoughts on this, but I also know that you I'm guessing you have some thoughts on this as well, as I know you probably can relate, and I've seen some of your videos.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steve takes a really grounded and scientific approach to some of the things that I talk about from more of a spiritual context. And the bottom line, though, and I think the most important thing for people to get out of that is this concept of responsibility. And this is something they teach in landmark education, if any of you are familiar with it, but it's about the fact that 100% zero is the only ratio that you can have any power with in your relationships, meaning the ratio of responsibility of how that relationship looks has to always be 100% in my court and 0% in anybody else's court, whether that's a relationship with a friend, a coworker, a lover, with yourself, with the universe, with baseball, with whatever. Your relationship to anything is 100% your responsibility, and it can never look any other way, or there's no power. So where that leads you is always asking, in the face of something that you don't enjoy, how did I create this? Who am I being that I have created this? Right? And so there will inevitably be people who say, like, yeah, but like, what about this situation? Like, how is it my fault that some drunk driver drove his pickup truck through the side of my house and destroyed everything, and now I'm broke and I don't have any money and I need the money to fix my house, but there's a hole in the house and I can't focus. So you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
There's like a million things, and then they go, how am I responsible for that? And it's like, well, you can choose not to be if you want, but there's no power in that. Exactly. None. So you can go around being a victim to life and thinking that something outside of you is creating your experiences, and even if you give away 1% of your power to that concept, you now have no power at all. Oh yeah. Because that 1% can come in and take over your life anytime it wants to, and you can just be Mr. Victim without the life that he wants.
Relating, or continue. Ahead. Yeah,
I was just saying, or you can take that full responsibility for everything and feel power all the time, and always have solutions, and always have places to go, even from the most ridiculous or dire of consequences. Yeah, very much relating to that, Michael Jordan always said that, a failure. I don't remember what he said, but point being that as soon as you come up with one excuse, that, just like you said, that removes
every learning opportunity. That removes every opportunity for growth. One excuse, because then you lose all power, like you just said. You lose all, and what like define power is more like, it's like, for me it's like something that uh, is like resources, right? Like giving you resources, you lose all that once you have one excuse, right? Because then all of a sudden it's not on you, it's on someone else, so you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's the ability to choose. And if the choice is not in your court, then the ability to choose goes away. So an excuse removes your ability to choose your outcomes. And so does giving away your responsibility in any other, fashion.
Mm.
And, if you're in a space, I'll say this to the guys here, if you're in a space where you're seeing a place where you're being a victim, or you're letting the responsibility for an outcome not being the way you want it to be outside of yourself, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, but do recognize in this moment right now, you can choose a new way of being and a new way of acting and a new belief system to surround all of it that empowers you, and that can happen any moment.
Mm.
And it's almost like a virus, I would say, from my own experience, because I've had bouts of ridiculous productivity, ridiculous integrity, years without drinking a drop, and eating so super strict, vegan, gluten free, and waking up every day at 6:30 on the dot, and all these different things. Training jujitsu 5 days, 6 days a week, every week, like no excuses, never sick, always like doing everything right. And what can happen is when you get out of integrity in one area, it can creep into many others.
Yeah.
Right, so for the last little bit, I haven't been in integrity with my exercise, which has made my body feel not as great as it normally does. My energy level's not as high as they normally do. So then I wake up in the morning, and it's not quite like 6:30 a.m. I know I do best when I wake up this early, but I'm a little tired. I haven't been getting enough exercise. Excuse. So now it affects that part of my life, right? Then I'm not getting as much exercise or sleeping the way I want to, so my productivity, my work goes down, and it's like, oh, but it's because of this. So it's like a virus, right? Like the one little thing switches, and it can affect and impact everything. And if you give it the power, like it's outside of yourself, it'll just stay that way.
Mm.
So it's something that you're going to constantly be doing, is looking at how am I currently creating my reality or my relationships or whatever, and how can I choose to recreate it, or how can I choose to create it moving forward, and where have I not knowingly given up my choice to choose, and where am I simply consciously giving away my power to choose by excuses or by thinking that somebody else is to blame, or whatever the case may be. So I
That's
hope
awesome.
did that make sense, all of that?
For me, it makes perfect sense, and I think it filled some questions being raised when Steve talks, because it's kind of complicated, but definitely like the huge takeaway there is like the more responsible you can become of how you perceive life and how you can take back the power, the better, right? So
Yeah.
awesome, very good, thanks.
Cool. Yeah. Which one we got next?
We got Andy Osha giving a great story, actually. I'm gonna post the link now, and get the ability to click it and
This
watch
yeah,
the
this was
video.
really awesome. Oh, we got 11 minutes. Woo, Andy.
Yeah. Let's start. Oh, for people, hold on a second. Let's give people some time to click the video.
Yeah, this was super transformative for Andy, so this will be really awesome to watch. I mean, he's reached tens of thousands of men
Oh yeah,
with daygame.com, and he had like a life-changing experience, and then revealed it live, at the summit. So that was really awesome.
it was great. This is also he told me this is his the speech he's most satisfied with ever. So
Very cool.
it's very cool. All right, guys. So I hope you have clicked the video, and let's start watching it right now.
Just for my own enjoyment, who has never approached a girl or boy on the street in the daytime? Only a few people. Oh, that's shit. I thought it was going to be like loads. Okay, I can do that. That's fine. That's my story, but that's not who I am. I mean, I haven't actually done a talk like this in like a couple of years. I actually started moving myself into the background of the company, getting into all the business and trying to grow it and stuff. And I was, last year, there was a guy called Tom Torero, who's one of my sort of main instructors now. He was talking. And at the 21 convention in London, he was talking. And I've been putting them at the front. And I was telling people that it was because I was working in the business and all that stuff, which was true, but there was also a weird thing going on with me in that when I started daygame.com, it wasn't because I was like, you know, yeah, look at me, I'm Andy Yosha, daygame.com, bitches, right? I got 99 problems. It wasn't that. It was like, it was because there's this awesome thing that I'd learned how to do, this little thing, this little niche, weird little thing I'd learned how to do. And I just got so much pleasure from watching others, you know, go through that, like, oh, fuck, and they do it, and they get a number, and they're like, holy shit. And I loved that so much, I was like, this is what I want to do with my time, you know, for a job. But then as the company, it was just a website to start with, as the company grew and grew and grew, and my reputation started to grow and grow and grow, and I was even voted number 9 pickup artist in the world from some website. You know, and stuff like that started happening. And I started realizing like that people were coming up to me and saying, oh, hey mate, you know, whatever. And I was realizing that there was this mask that was starting to form, that people kind of expected something, they expected me to be this kind of, you know, like San Perrion kind of like awesome seducer kind of guy. And I felt like that's not really who I am. I'm like a weird geek, like who's just learned some weird little thing. You know, I'll be there playing StarCraft with my mate and like, you know, and then go out and do some day game, and some student comes up to me and he's like, oh, you know, and I feel that who he thinks I am is not who I am. So I started to think like this is, I was thinking again, if this continues and I'm like the big day game dog, like if this continues, you know, and then I'm on TV and stuff, like this is only going to grow and grow and grow. And I felt that whenever people were coming up to me, I without thinking about it, the mask came on. Without thinking about it, I was like, yeah, you know, hey, and I wasn't being myself. So this is why I started this talk by telling you my real name, because Andy Yosha is not a real person, right? I'm Andy Moore. I had 2 level 40 paladins in World of Warcraft. What the fuck are you clapping me, you dicks? I love StarCraft 2. I used to play Skyrim until I got bored of it. It got a bit repetitive. Big fan of FIFA. I like FIFA. I was a big fan of Quake, Team Fortress, Duke Nukem 3D. I've got that on my phone. You know, I'm a fucking nerd, like, you know. So, like, yeah, bitches, Andy Yosha. Like, nah. Like, I'm just, I'm a nerd, but I've directed that nerdiness towards, like, learning how to approach girls in the daytime, right? And there's times when I feel insecure. There's times where, you know, I don't think I'm enough. You know, because I set very high expectations for myself, and I usually don't meet them. So I don't feel like I'm enough in the world. I have fears. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of lots of things. You know, I'm a real person. So that's why I wanted to call this talk Day Game Unmasked, because this is like an unmasking. But the reason why I'm talking about masks as well is because you all wear masks all the time as well. It's really fucking hard to be authentic, to be really authentic, purely spontaneous. It's very difficult, it's really hard, because most of us, we really care what people think of us, you know, to greater or lesser degrees. And when you care what somebody thinks of you, you put on the mask that you think they want to see. And it's kind of something that we're kind of brought up to do, you know, be nice to your sister, you know, don't say that, it's rude, whatever. So we go out into the world, with a mask on, and like, let's say you're turning up to a party, when I turned up to here, to Oslo, and I turn up to the house where all the trainers are gathered round, and I'm walking in and I'm thinking, all right, come on, it's not like, everyone does it, don't they? They think, oh, right, let's bring my A game here. And it's a mask, right? And I always find that what makes people drawn to you is when that mask comes off. That mask you check in with yourself and you think, okay, well, and it usually takes just that little, like, okay, yeah, just notice, yeah, okay, this is not really me. Notice the mask. And we have different masks for our boss, different masks for our friends, different masks for, if you're approaching Zan to shake his hand and stuff, you're probably like, okay, right, different mask for your family. So the goal should be being maskless, being completely maskless. The sign of a confident man is a man who is consistent in his behavior no matter who he talks to. He's consistent. There is no mask. And being maskless in the world is fucking scary, because when you're wearing a mask and someone rejects you, it's like, oh, well, it wasn't me, it was just a mask, But when you're like, put yourself out there and you get rejected, then you just got rejected, And this is why a lot of people, when they get into pickup, they get stuck in this, like, I'm just going over there and I'm just going to be silly, be crazy, because then you get rejected. Why? Woo, doesn't matter. But when you put yourself on the line, it takes balls, real balls, to just look into a girl's eyes and be honest, and be completely honest. It's scary. So the first thing is noticing you've got a mask. Make sense? Okay. So where do we go from here? You're maskless, now what? You're all naked in front of me. Right? The reason why it's hard to be maskless is because you don't truly love yourself. Because to be maskless is saying, I'm exactly okay as I am. I'm perfect as I am. Because what a mask is you thinking you need to be different from who you are. It's like, well, I need to be more confident, so I'll fake it till I make it. I'll wear my confidence mask. I need to be louder. I need to project more. I need to be alpha. Right? But here's a little secret for you guys that hopefully will change the way you think about things. The most attractive trait in a man that women are attracted to is confidence. The most attractive thing is confidence. But guess what repulses women the most? What repulses them and just, it's bullshit. The second they smell bullshit, just a bullshit, just a little bit, it's over. It's over, you're done. Yeah? So what happens is that, I don't feel confident. Right, okay, hey babe, what's up? She's like, nah, bullshit. It's done, you're over, right? It's finished. So yes, we want to be more confident, but you can't fake it, you can't pretend. In a nightclub you can, because everyone's drunk and it's crazy. It's a different kind of environment, right? Fake it till you make it. Like, just go over to her and just fucking dance with her. Fuck! Right? Because everyone's drunk, it's crazy, but in the daytime you can't hide. You can't hide in the daytime. So what to do? Thank you very much. No. Stop that! What are you doing? Okay. What was I talking about? Okay, so what to do now? So you're naked, there's no masks, okay? How do you love yourself? What the fuck? Well, here's what I think. I think in order to love yourself, you have to know yourself. You have to know who you are. And that's a tricky thing, isn't it? Like that question, who are you? It's like, I don't know. Well, here's what I think. I think who you are is a static version of what you do. I think what you do is who you are put into action. I think who you are is like the wake behind a boat. And you're on the boat. And you're looking back and going, that's who I am. So who you are is your thought process for who you were in the past. It's the wake behind the boat. And what you do dictates who you are. What you do, what you spend your, I don't mean your job, what you fill your day with from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed is who you are. So if you don't like yourself, then you just don't like what you do. If you don't like yourself, all you need to do is change what you do until you like what you do, and then you will like yourself as a byproduct.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's a great video clip, right?
Yeah. Oh man, there was something that came through right in the middle for me, and then I forgot it because that last thing got me.
All
See
right,
if I can remember it.
okay, let's think about it, and then I'll do my comments on it. Cause what he talks about being maskless, right? And noticing the mask that you have on all the time, and I mean, it's so easy to, or at least in my experience, it's so easy to, like, all of a sudden a day goes by or a week goes by, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I have a mask on, you know? Or you're in this, you meet these new people, or you're in this new environment, or you're with your family, or some friends, or other friends, or girls, or whatever, and all of a sudden you're like, what the? Well, I'm not the same here as I am there. What's going on? And I think that not just noticing it, but practicing being maskless is one of the most valuable things you can do. And I think also that, like, he talks about, you gotta, in order to be able to be maskless, you gotta love yourself. In order to love yourself, you gotta love what you do. And I think a key component here is braveness, like being brave. Because to me, being brave is doing the right thing. It's the same thing. So if you practicing doing the right thing, you know what the right thing is, like the true. If you go inside and you feel, and you know, and you ask yourself, what is the right thing to do here? Then you know what the right thing is. And being brave is actually simple as taking action on the right thing. So when you continue to take action on the right thing, then you will respect yourself more for taking the right actions. And as he said, like the boat with the rings behind it, your confidence will build from that, and you can let your mask go. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just verify that with my existence, right? I very much. It's very true that the mask comes from needing to hide something, which comes from not loving yourself. You know, if you truly love yourself, you would never put a mask over the thing that you love, right? That's like taking an ugly black cloth and covering over like the most beautiful piece of wooden hand-carved mahogany in your house, right? You wouldn't do it. You'd be like, why would I do that? The thing is beautiful, right? So if you have any mask on ever, it's just a clear indicator that you don't love yourself. Otherwise, you would never do that to yourself. And then, as far as I really like the boat analogy, honestly, because one of the things that's defined me, I believe, and made it so easy for me to change so much in such a short period of time, is that I made my job, I made my work and how I earn money, and I made my businesses and everything around me and around me taking the actions I want to take in the world, supporting other people, becoming my best self, being fit, being healthy, being articulate, being knowledgeable, being wise, like learning, growing, changing. That is my life, and I do that day in, day out. And so, you know, if you look at a Kurt Spelling video on YouTube from 4 years ago, and you look at one of my more recent videos, it's like two entirely different people. And
Yes.
I mean, most people don't change at all in 3 or 4 years, for let alone entirely, like end to end as a human being, right? So that's where the self-love comes from, though, from the state of doing and to create the self-love. It's like over time, you take the right actions, and eventually you don't need a mask, because it's like, I mean, I'm sitting on this thing, I got these headphones on, right? Like, but it's like, it's just like, I'm just a dude, I'm hanging out with a bunch of cool dudes, and like, there's no reason for it to be anything else than that, because I love myself. Even this live event I just did in San Diego 3 or 4 nights ago, it was a super intimate event. There was 10 people there, 10 guys, and we had an amazing 2 hours together. And I even said to him, today my YouTube channel just crossed 10,000 subscribers, right? So I could put out a YouTube video and 10,000 people get notified about it immediately, along with all my other channels and all the different things that I can do to promote it, right? And along that comes, yeah, thanks. I'm stoked about it, right? But what I noticed is alongside that comes this like made up persona or mask that has to do with like being so cool, or being that guy, or being special enough, or being separate or greater or whatever. And it's all just bullshit. And so I totally came clean about that to this group of 10 guys. I was like, I thank you so much for even being here, because you think you're here to get transformed, but this has already been a transformational thing for me, because I got to put down all the crap that I didn't even realize was there about I can't show up in a room that has less than 50 or 100 people in it. I'm like this big star. Like, bullshit. Like, what I really care about is giving you access to a life you love. And so I'll do that for one person as much as I'll do it for 5 people, as much as I'll do it for 5,000 people, right? And then getting real with that. And I think the only reason I had the ability to get real with that, and the only reason I have the ability to change so quickly, is because I refuse to wear a mask. And as soon as something becomes aware that it's like, oh, there's some inauthenticity there, or there's some bullshit there, it gets handled. It gets expressed. It gets cleaned up if it's with another person, or it gets changed if it's just something within my control. And it's just like the way I live. So it's like, I think it's a continual unmasking, because these masks are deep in their layers, It's like we're always growing.
Oh my God, that's great, and it's so inspiring, man. Because since I've become friends with you, you always you know if you're in the room, because you are different and you make no excuses of being different in a good way, and that's an inspiring thing, and it sends out an energy that is attractive, for sure. And I think that has everything to do with loving yourself and expressing that, and not, like you said, putting anything to cover it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think there'd be benefit in everyone just understanding that this unmasking process is like lifelong. I mean, we're all even wearing this again. My tribe knows how spiritual I am. Like, if you really think about it from a context of the fact that we know that nothing is solid, right? That it's even like it's an illusion that we're in this solid human body and this solid reality and all that. Mostly everything is just empty space. So like, even like, how do we get that mask off, right? Like, that's why I meditate every day. So it's like, the unmasking is a lifelong process, and with every little bit of progress you make, you'll love yourself that much more, because the truth of who you are at your core is nothing but endless, boundless, limitless love. It's
That's
like
awesome.
there's no baby, there's no 3-year-old baby who doesn't love themselves.
Yeah, good
right?
point.
You have to
right?
learn that. You have to learn that.
I think it was Sir Ken Robinson. I think it was him. So I'm giving credits to him anyway. Who said like, if if you go to a classroom or a kindergarten and you ask them how many people want to come up here and do a song and dance and like have to, or everyone would put their hands up, you know, and by the
Yeah.
time they're in high school or college and ask the same question, nobody would fucking consider, you know, going up and singing and dancing.
And
So
that's all those masks, all those masks, all those layers, 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 layers.
yeah.
You know, and I had all those layers. For anybody who's ever watched the True Man Training or something, seen my high school photo, there's layers, so many.
That's great. Okay, so I have a question though. So for you, unlayering or whatever we call it, and becoming more spiritual and all that. I also want to emphasize or ask you a question, like, but you also know the value of taking action, right? Because I always see you studying new stuff, reading books, and going through programs or having conversations with inspiring people and having mentors, and you have mentors and trainers and advisory boards and like constantly improving
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
But I mean, the reason I ask is because I have met so many spiritual people or who also like are completely lost and they forget to take action. So I just want to emphasize, like, I want to ask you about that balance there.
Yeah, well, I think that's super important because stereotypes exist for a reason because a lot of times they're true, right? So there are those spiritual people who are like, "Hey, man, like just love, man, and let's just like hang out, right?" And then, "Oh, no worries that like my life isn't how I totally want." Like, there's a lot of spiritual people who are also like broke. And
Mm,
that's okay. There's nothing that says that you're good because you have money, but they're broke and they don't want to be, and they're
mm,
not taking any action to change it. So there's an inauthenticity there, right?
mm,
So for me, I think having a spiritual teacher like my guru is a huge part of what makes my spirituality very applicable and like self-development oriented. It's like I have a clear practice, like I know exactly what type of meditation to do, and I have a teacher who can tell me when I'm off track and help me get back on track. And it's just like, so it's just another component of my things that are moving forward in a linear progression, right?
mm,
But I do want to just emphasize what you're talking about, because so many of us, we want things to change, but we are in this like pickup cave almost, or this self-development cave. Like, don't let anyone know that I'm changing myself. I
mm,
don't want my friends will think I'm weird, like my parents will think I'm crazy, like my whatever, right?
mm,
And then you can't ever get what you want if you stay in that little cave and you try to pretend like you're not changing yourself.
mm,
You'll never get the transformation that you're really looking for. I've been so fully public with my transformation all along the way. I mean, nobody gave me permission to be allowed and able and certified and credible to start making Kurt Spelling videos on YouTube. I
mm,
just did it,
mm,
right? And alongside that came the public creation of myself as a transformational being, and that was definitely a huge component in me changing rapidly.
mm,
And so that's one side of things. You got to be about it in the world. You can't just like hang out with us here on Google Hangout and then go back to like playing video games with your friends when you know that you don't want to sit there playing video games. What you really want to do is like go out in the world and talk to people and get over your social anxiety, or like
mm,
go work on that business idea that you had, or
mm,
go be physical and work out, or play a sport or whatever. Like you can't sit down for transformational time and then not go apply it, right? And the way that it's just it's a way of life. But you also want to keep yourself on track with teachers, mentors, guides. So I do that for guys in True Man Academy, right? Like every week I'm teaching them stuff. You and I do it with like masterminds, like me and Morten will mastermind about our businesses and about self-development.
yeah,
I've always, in my life, I've always got a mentor. I've always got students. I've always got mastermind people. I've always got an accountability partner, and I'm almost always in multiple programs. Like right now I'm
mm,
in 3 different programs. One's a $12,000 year-long mentorship in my business. Another one is a 10-week course on relationships, and then I'm reading books and petting this dog right here. Can you guys see this man? Get up here. What's up? This is Lily. Hey, Lily, say no. Don't
Aw.
walk Oh, see you later, Lily. Hey, Lily, say what's up. This dog is crazy.
It's
Um,
beautiful. Beautiful. My dog is
um,
sleeping here. It's the middle of the night here, so.
yeah, yeah, I know you're burning the midnight oil over there. So yeah, being in action, it comes down to like
Mm.
making it your way of being out in the world and making no excuses for that, and then also, you know, keeping yourself supported with just the lifestyle, the friends, the mentors, the advisors, everything. Hey, other doggy. Hey.
That's amazing, man. That's perfect. That's exactly how I. Yeah, and also like, cause what you said about
This is Gracie May. Grace, can I have a kiss? Grace, kiss. She would listen if I had a treat in my hand.
Hey,
This is Corinne,
Corinne.
everybody. Hey, hey. Oh, we're live,
This
baby.
is turning into. A nice refreshment.
Yes. All right.
Perfect. Dude, I miss you guys.
Cool.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
we want to hit up this last video, or
Yeah, let's do that. I just want to emphasize very quick that what you said about, nobody gave you permission to start the Kurt Spelling videos, and that's not gonna happen. If anyone like needs a permission to do their big thing, their big action, we are giving you the permission right now. You can go out
yeah,
and do it, and people may react. In my case, there was like a 6-page article in the biggest magazine in Norway, men's magazine, of me, studying how to get laid. And you can imagine, I'm living in a town with 45,000 people. You can imagine how many people, read that, and everybody knew about it all of a sudden. There was a reaction, but at the same time, uh, but it took me maybe 3 months of people, of like quote unquote haters, to turn around and realize either they lost and I never heard about them again, or they started to become inspired and became closer because I actually peeled off one layer, of my mask, and then fast forward 5 years, it's a completely different situation. So sometimes, or a lot of times actually, your success is behind your fears. It's like your biggest success is most certainly behind your biggest fear, right?
yeah. That's very true. Like whatever the thing is you're most afraid of to share out in the world, as
Mm,
part of like who you are becoming, or the thing you're most afraid to do that
mm,
first, and just watch how you start to unlock this power that just pushes you forward towards completing and barreling through anything else that you're afraid of.
mm.
It's monumental.
It is. All right. We're gonna continue. Last video. Boom, and it's with Noah. I'm gonna put the. This is a great video, and it's essential, so essential, and it's in the chat now, and we'll give guys a few seconds to click the link, let the window load up. Maybe some has some slower connections. It's a short but powerful video, and it's all. It's about the friend zone, but it's not about the friend zone. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play the video. 3.
So the question asked if you're going to be in the friend zone forever. I think that the entire question comes from really a lack consciousness. If you're in the friend zone in the first place, and then you're thinking, well, am I going to be there forever? You're basically acknowledging that this one relationship that you had, that was your shot, and now you're in this bad place, but maybe you can make it go into this good place. And what about fuck buddies? Like, could we be fuck buddies? It's much more aligned with Steve's talk of opening up that connection to love. So you want fuck buddies? So go on your Facebook and declare, "I heart fuck buddies," right? Like that. You need to open yourself to that, and you need to align yourself with that. You need to be authentic with that, and then you would never be in a friend zone if that was really where you wanted to be. you would have never gotten in the friend zone with that person in the first place. If you were truly authentic with that person from the start, there's no way that someone who is looking for that type of lifestyle ends up in the friend zone. You know, because you're sexual right away, you're straightforward right away, you share where you're at right away. You don't play this sly, cool guy who's going to be really nice and asexual and non-threatening, so that maybe later you can be sexual in her life, right, after you've earned her trust, and then you end up in the friend zone, right? You're a man, and you're straightforward, and you're honest, and you tell them how beautiful you think they are, and you tell them exactly what is on your mind, and you have no apology for it because you represent the truth and your authenticity and who you truly are, and you broadcast it. You're like, I'm the kind of guy who loves to take home women and have fun in that way, and you don't play this sneaky thing that makes you end up in the friend zone. So I think the action to take would be, first of all, is just kind of forget that one in particular that you're thinking about. The only possible way was maybe from Zan's speech, where you say, look, I've had a life-changing experience this weekend, and I haven't shown up as my most dynamic self or my most authentic self. And what I want to say is that I've always found you sexually attractive. And the man that I was not able to express that authentically. But the man that I am now and the man that I'm committed to being in the future has absolutely no problem saying how completely amazing you are and how completely attracted to you I am, etc. Right? So sharing your truth. So that's one possible action to take, but overall, I think the shift just needs to be from a lack consciousness to an abundance consciousness, recognizing that as long as you show up in the world the way you truly feel inside, all the people who feel that way too will just start aligning with you, and it'll be effortless, and you won't have to fix a broken situation. You'll just be living in abundance. I just feel Johnny on to get on this. 2, 1, and play. Yeah. Clap, clap, clap.
This relates very much to what we have talked about, but also, I mean, the shift from kind of like a lack mentality to an abundance mentality is huge here, and showing up as your true self. How about you? Do you mind sharing how you met Corinne? Because I think that kind of relates, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I'll say before I forget to is that, like, the first thing I shared in that video was being out in the world, like, authentic, right? So it wasn't about this, what can I do to get out of the friend zone, this sneak, like, that's what we can create in our cave. It's like this super technique to get out of the friend zone, right? But, like, what's real and what will actually have you be out of the friend zone is by going out and being completely authentic and saying exactly what you want to say to that person, and sharing your truth. And that's being your transformation out in the world. You know, that's not hiding, that's not wearing a mask, that's just being you out in the world, being the new you, perpetually the new you out in the world. Doesn't matter what the old you was. You walk out into the world as the new you, and everyone now treats you differently and aligns to you differently. It doesn't matter that you were always the nerd. The new you is walking around and he's cool and chill and doesn't mind what the hell people think about him. And he expresses that, and people now align to see the new you. You don't have to pretend to be the old you to make them feel comfortable, right? And that's just super important. Like, so many guys will spend so much less time stuck if they just take that on and really go for that. Yeah, and then I guess to share how I met Corinne, that lovely lady all of you just saw. We were at a mutual event. My sister and her friend were launching a business that they created together. We were both there, and pretty much at the first opportunity I had to get a moment to speak with her alone, I just walked up to her. We chatted for 2 seconds about, I don't know, having fun kind of conversation, like having fun, yeah, that kind of stuff. And then I said, hey, this might sound a little forward, but are you single? And she kind of giggled a little bit, and then said, I'm very single.
I'm very single. I love that response.
I love it too. She's so cute, and she's the same way in the world. She's totally straightforward. So that enabled her to not play some kind of game like other chicks might play and be like, oh, like I have to make him like work for it. Like I can't be straightforward with him. Like, is this Sex in the City enough? Like she was able to speak her truth because she's done work for herself too. And so there you are, two people speaking your truth, and oh wait, yeah, like attraction between a man and a woman is the most natural biological thing and strongest biological urge that exists. So it really is that easy. I said, once you take off enough layers and enough of the mask, and you are who you want to be in the world, and you're attracting who you want to be with in the world, then it's like, hey, are you single? Yes, I'm very single. Oh, great. Like, and it's that easy, right? So I think that maybe, if anything, could just help dispel some of the myths that we see in our world about like how hard it is to seduce or meet or pick up a girl, right? It's just, you know, obviously I didn't seduce her there. Her pants didn't fly off the next moment, and she go, wow, Noah Hammond, right? I'm not a superpower, it's not a superhero or anything, right? But it's like, you know, there's where it all started, and it's just that easy and real.
Yeah. That's amazing. That shows it, because that's like full circle, and that's what your mom told you when you were a kid, right? Just be yourself. But then like, how the fuck do you be yourself, right?
Right.
So hopefully we have kind of managed to help guys understand that it's all about, you know, stripping off those layers, and once you get, or I mean, just showing up as your true self, you can do stuff like that, and it actually works because it is the most natural, and it is the most like honest way of doing it, and it's like how that's the secret, that's the magical pill, right? Right there.
Yeah, to be yourself, to have the ability to, though, that's the real difference. Is like, you know, many of us say we want to be ourselves, but then how do you actually do that? How do you actually get rid of the fears to do so? You know, and then action is a big part of that, and having the know-how, you know, and having the ability to commit to it, and then actually following through, like going for it. You know, and that's where I'll say forever, not just because I have programs and not just because Morten has programs, but just because it's true. You need support to make that stuff happen, or you need to create your own structure, your own regime, your own, like, okay, I'm going to watch this every day, I'm going to take these actions, I'm going to set myself up to be accountable. Like, there needs to be some sort of structure around how you move forward in life, or you'll never get there. Yeah. You know, so whatever that structure looks like, whether that's taking on a coach, on a program, on your own structure, on friends, whatever, like creating a mastermind, all of it really is what you want, so that you have just your whole life set up for success.
Yep. I agree. And can you see this now?
Yeah, it's time to think bigger.
Yeah. So no, but like you said, I mean, we talked about this earlier, and I wanna give guys the opportunity to take this a step further, and we've put together this amazing offer, and I wanna offer it to guys. So yeah, it's time to think bigger. Being an honest, attractive, and authentic man, knowing who you are and where you want to go in life. I'm just gonna go fast through this because this is all we have been talking about, and also you know,
that whole unmasking process.
Exactly. And then owning who you are as a man and what you desire. You know, being unapologetic and upfront. This is all in line, right? So it gives you the freedom that we talked about earlier, when having the breakthrough, when you strip off the layer, it feels more and more free, right? Can you relate to that?
Yeah, man, it's the ultimate freedom. I mean, you get to just walk through life, and the mind chatter that's so stressful goes away when you are not trying to create. You're not trying to fit your mask to somebody, but you're actually just maskless. The easiest thing in the world to do, once you actually know how to do it, and you can do it, is just be yourself. It's the easiest thing. You know, it brings such peace to your life.
It does, and you get like, and you get. There's one of my earlier clients who went through our long-term coaching program, who also went through your True Man Academy, and he is constantly like every other week I get a message from him on Facebook like, I just wanted to say thank you guys, like this is amazing, and he just like now
Awesome.
he's finally, because he had been shy his entire life. He had been overthinking. He had been in his head. He even, but now he just, freedom is the word he comes back to all the time. Just he feels free. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't need any any solution anymore. He doesn't need the way, the tactic, the gambit, the thing, the perfect answer anymore. He can just be free and have fun and be himself. And even, his skin has cleared, as a result of just
Yeah.
relaxing.
Well, I mean, look at the difference between card spelling videos and my new YouTube channel now. And even I got some new videos coming out just next week that are gonna be even more. But I mean, I lost weight. My voice changed, my face shape changed, my eyes changed. Like you have physical changes that happen when you energetically shift, who you're being and how much you're thinking or overthinking and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to let you
100%.
guys know that me and Morten put together something pretty killer for you guys. So we super appreciate you all being here to hang out with us. And it was honestly just earlier this morning we were like, okay, so like what are we going to give these guys as an opportunity, for being with us? We're not just going to hang out and chat and give them info. Like, let's give them something deeper too. And I'll just let Morten share it because I'm sure you got some slides made up or something, but
Yeah,
it's pretty killer.
it is, and I really appreciate you giving that. I honestly do.
Yeah, no problem.
So, all right, so basically the entire True Man Academy, and well, you need to, know more about this than me, but I'm starting to go through it, so but you definitely know more than me.
So should I just highlight what it is? We got 12. Yeah. It's 12 modules. You get one every week. I mean, a lot of the guys here, they've got to know what's in it. They've been through so many emails that have referenced True Man Academy.
Yep.
But it's a complete transformational course from start to finish, from the whole unmasking process to then once you're unmasked, how do you get clarity on what you actually want in the world, free of the programming of the world, right? How do you go and create your life? How do you do it powerfully? How do you have the relationships you want with women, the physical body you want, the health you want, the vitality you want, the energy you want, the job you want? Like, how do you get empowered to live your life the way you want in every area, right? And how do you show up fully self-expressed in life and get whatever it is you want? I mean, honestly, this is focused on women. We talk about dating and flirting and getting numbers and those kinds of things too, and how to have amazing sex and how to have an amazing social circle and all these things. But this program actually empowers you to have whatever you want in life in all areas. So it's 12 weeks, and every week you get a coaching module as well as an action guide of like, this is exactly what to do this week to get the results necessary to propel you forward in the program to next week. And it all comes in an online online users area where you get everything is stored, all your past calls are recorded, and so every week you get a coaching webinar, and then you also get a Q&A call with me and everybody else who's in the program. And so we all hang out. You can ask whatever you want. I always come with unique content, new stuff from my own life experience. We've had probably 40 of those calls already, and every single one of them is recorded. So there's a massive amount of bonus content available besides the program itself.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of bonuses within. It's just a wealth of information, and it's very actionable. And then you also get hooked into an exclusive group of Jess men who are in or have been in the True Man Academy. And so there's an amazing networking group available too, and that's all included in whatever Morten has slapped on here. I'm going to let him take the reins.
This is, I just want to say that the True Man Academy is like the most comprehensive man program I have seen ever. And I've been starting off in 2006, 2007, like really going in for starting my self-development and stuff, I have had mentors from then until now, and I've even been in long-term programs where we had to like study literally self-development for 6 hours a day. So I've been through most of the programs, or at least most of the famous ones, and the True Man Academy is the most comprehensive, in-depth like program I have seen, and there's no fluff there. That's what I like about your teaching, is that you're like, all right, you go straight to it, the point, and you tell the stories that needs to be told in order to emphasize a point. But it's like I continuously take notes and get epiphanies and breakthroughs in every single like of your content bit. It's so valuable, it's ridiculous. I just wanted to say that. So this is really the
Awesome.
peak. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's yeah, cool. Yeah, so what we want to add to this is basically the Morten Hake Summit 3 footage, and that's the entire weekend that Noah attended. No, not attended, but spoke at, but also attended because you were there the whole weekend talking.
Oh yeah.
Talking to attendees and the speakers are, and that is how I think it was 13 or 11 or 13 speakers, including Sam Perrion, Noah Hammond, Andy, me and Knut spoke there, Steve Pavlina, Rob Brinded talked there, and I mean, we basically, our vision behind the summit is to bring in the people, the big shots who actually walk the talk, the guys who are actually bringing the real deal onto the table, if you know what I mean. So and also included is that we have made ready written notes and audio for all the content bits, all the videos, so you get that. And oh, there we go. Steve Pavlina, Johnny Soporno, Sylvia Purt, which is a personal trainer, very big in the Hispanic community. Yeah, you guys probably know most of these guys. And it's all about growing and all about relationship and personal development, seduction, or growing as a man and becoming an attractive, authentic man. Everything what we talked about today, we just bring in the best people and let them share what they feel is the most important. And also, we want to give out the Morten Hake Summit 1, which we had in 2010, with speakers including Paul Janka, Michael Lassen, Neil Natura, Sasha Kovra, Amadeus Helkin, Alex May. He talked about how to become better in how to understand women's sexuality more, and how to become better in with sex, which is actually more important than one of the most important things, because it also relates very much to stripping off these layers that we talked about. Orlando Owen, which is the kind of remasculating guy, he's like the world's #1 helping guys to become more masculine again. Scott McKay, you probably know him. Rob Brinded again talked there, and some Norwegian guys. One of them talking about online dating, how to shine your best self through there, and yeah, just a bunch of like experts in different fields coming in and speaking and giving their best info there.
Cool.
Yeah, and of course the 2011 one, which is the Summit 2. So there's actually 3 entire weekends of footage in what we want to give here, just to make this like a complete no-brainer. Here was Brian Byer from Authentic Man program. He talked about how to find kind of the blind spots that it's hard to see when you're communicating with people. Sometimes a bit of your mask relates to what we talked about today. A bit of your mask shines through. So he talks about how you can pinpoint those blind spots and how you can remove them. John is a porno talks about what he usually does. About successfulness in life and also multiple long-term relationships, jealousy, yeah, and yeah, and Sanperian, the what could I call Sanperian, Noah?
He's just the world's most foremost authority on loving women. I mean, we don't even have to call Zampere on anything. All you have to do is tell the story real quick that for one of his birthdays not too many years ago, his current girlfriend brings him to a house, and he gets inside the house, and surprise, for your birthday, he has like 20 or 30 of his ex-girlfriends all wearing lingerie. Many of them with their current boyfriends and everything, and they all got together to wear lingerie and to celebrate him on his birthday. So he's surrounded with like 20 or 30 of his girlfriends, and they're all in lingerie. And that's the kind of man that he is for women.
Yeah.
He is a lifelong lover of women, and they love him endlessly in return.
That's a great, and that's also the truth. And when you hear him, you get some breakthroughs that is so profound and so important that not going through Zan's like speeches in this product is doing yourself a big disfavor. So he's the man. It's why I invite him back. And he's hard to get. He doesn't talk at these conferences at all. And he also says that in one of the testimonials he did. He does not accept these invitations. It's very rare. So this is kind of big. And Jordan Harbinger from the Pickup podcast and the Art of Charm, and Violet Marcel, which is one of Johnny's girlfriends. She's a porn star, but also she's like this expert in long-term multiple relationships, and she has some great insights on women's perspective on how men treat women, how you communicate with them, and of course how they are in bed. Tom Terrero from Daygame.com, TJ or Torkel Guttormsen, he talks about how to create a confident lifestyle, which he created traveling around the world. And Michael Lussen, he is an NLP expert, an inner game expert. He helps poker stars like world champions keep their strengthen their inner game, and me and Knut has speeches as well, which you saw a bit of my speech from 2011 there. All this we sell as and also these are show notes, ready written notes, so you don't have to take notes. These are all together over 52 teachings. This is very, very comprehensive. This is an amazing abundance of spectrum of insights you can get on what you need to become a more attractive guy. And
Nice.
yeah, and also included in this on the site, there's 15 or even there's 20 plus hours in 15 videos with bonuses. That's questions and answering, where we have the panel on stage and people in the audience are asking questions. And also we had people running around with cameras, that because after the talks and in the breaks during the weekend, a lot of people comes up to the speakers and ask them questions. So we had a what's it called, a film crew running around with mics and just starting to film when people ask them questions. So you actually get the questions from the audience who maybe did not dare to question them in front of everybody. So you get like the backstage info there and the insights there. And also we made some interviews with the speakers and everything you get in this package. So that means Morten Hake Summit 1, 2, and 3, plus all the show notes. Also you'll get it in audio if you want to listen to it on the bus or while commuting or whatever, and all the bonuses and everything. And I want to put all this into your for people who join your True Man Academy, just because I know the value of the True Man Academy. I know the value of this. It's ridiculous, but most importantly,
I love it, man.
yeah.
I love it. And for those of you who do get this offer, definitely watch Zen Perion's speech in 2011 Morten Hockey Summit. I remember
Uh,
watching it, and it was actually while I was about to move out of my house, and I was packing up my house while I had it playing in the background, and I kept stopping to stare at it in awe of like the just the clarity and the power and the truth that that he was speaking in those speeches. And then everybody's speech is just transformational. I mean, when I was speaking at the summit in 2012, I was also in the audience taking notes during everybody else's speeches.
yeah,
So it was a learning experience just as much as a teaching experience, and it was, amazing from both sides. So I think doing all that alongside True Man Academy is actually going to be just a huge boost to the effectiveness of and what people can get out of True Man Academy and going through my program. So I think it's nothing but complimentary in a huge way.
for
So
sure.
I
I
think this
mean,
is pretty awesome.
this is the opportunity guys have to actually take to be the leaders in their life and take action towards their direction. I mean, if this webinar resonated with your values and you feel like you got closer to your kind of vision in life, then this is for you. You would do yourself a this favor not to join the True Man Academy and get all these ridiculous bonuses included.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys find any value in having access to me for answering your personal questions as you go through a 12-week transformational program that I designed to specifically take what took me 7 years and turn it into just those 12 weeks, that's what it is. It's my 7-year journey to having no mask and to having the self-love and to having the women I want and the relationships I want and the business I want and the health I want and all these things. It was like a 7-year plus conscious journey of self-development, and that's what the True Man Academy is designed to give you the ability to do yourself in 12 weeks. And then we get to be on a call together every single week to keep you moving along through the program and have any of your questions answered. So you actually get, this won't be this way for very long. Like as the company grows and we're actually launching our new brand, and we're actually launching a True Woman Academy soon underneath this whole new brand, and all this stuff is going to explode. For right now, I'm still the person who facilitates the True Man Academy calls every single week, and you can access me every single week to answer your questions. And so if you are one of the few people in the world who is right now sitting on this webinar, I would just strongly urge you to look at what you would really be passing up if you decided not to get involved with us today, not only because Morten has added these 3 years of and all this invaluable footage to the True Man Academy experience, but it's like if this is not the thing that pushes you towards action, consider like what would. Like, would I have to like kick in the wall of your house like the Kool-Aid Man and be like, hey, like I thought you might want the True Man Academy? Like, like what would actually be the thing that would make you put away whatever fears come up when you think about, what the time commitment or the investment or should I do this or what will people think about me if I do this, or whatever the fears and the nonsense that might be in your head right now. What is it going to take for you to push all that away to tap into the other side of what your being is doing right now, which is being excited, right? And so there's a part of you that's fearful and a part of you that's excited. What is it going to take for you to tap into the part of you that is excited and move forward? I would not have any idea what we could do beyond what we're doing right now. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm putting everything. I mean, to me, it's like I really care, and I really want people to join the True Man Academy, and I really want people to see and experience and learn and discover all the things that we have discovered throughout the last 3 years of putting this together. Actually 4 years, because it takes a year to put this together, to get the speakers there, to put everything in place. It's that big hassle, but at the same time I'm doing this and basically giving it all for free for when people, as a bonus for people joining the True Man Academy, just because I know the value of what people will be ending up with, right? Because the time it'll take people to you know, accumulate this knowledge that they're going to get access to is going to be, I mean, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I don't know. But in 20 years or in 40 years or in 60 years or even 2 months or 6 months, the price you're going to pay for this, you won't even remember it, right? You will remember the experiences, the growth, the people you meet because of implementing what you're going to learn. And when you go through the Truman Academy, it's not going to be like you get access to this today and then you forget it tomorrow. Noah actually follows up on you. There's a program you go through. You get assignments. You get the training. The what's it called? The guides. You know, there's a very, very step-by-step way of growing that is actually laid out for you in a way that it's very digestible, very simple, and you know, making it the fastest way possible and giving you clarity that is priceless. To me, I mean, paying $297 just to get access to the Truman Academy is ridiculous in itself, and then adding all those bonuses so you can listen to it in your car or put it up on your computer whenever you want. It's just, honestly, it is ridiculous. If
you were here right now, Morten, I'd high five the shit out of you.
But I mean, honestly, man, I mean, not taking action on this, I mean, I can understand people have fear. So of course, like, we give them 100% money back guarantee. That's a given, right? Because I know the value of our summits, our conferences. You have been there, you know the value, and I also know the value of Truman Academy. So giving people 100% money back guarantee is a given, because, you know, it's.
I mean, it's there for Truman Academy, and it's never once been actually used ever.
Yeah.
But it's still there, right? Because it's just like, of course, right? What I'll say is, you know, because I think, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the number one thing that people always say is like, oh, like, you know, money's a little tight right now, and I don't know, and I think that Truman Academy is, and it's not just me that thinks this, the Truman Academy is a life-changing experience. And when you look at whatever you're going to spend at the bar, at the club, or you know, on your next Xbox game, or on the next tank of gas, or like whatever, none of those are going to change your life forever. But the Truman Academy, and going through the footage from Morten Hake Summit for the last 3 years, that will change your life forever. And this is one of those moments where you'll actually look back from 5 years from now and living whatever caliber life you're living, whatever upgrade life you're living, you'll look back and you'll be like, you know what? It really started there. Like, when I got that changed everything. You know, and there's several programs for me in my life that do that for me, where I just look back and I'm like, that was what caused that business's success. That program changed everything. So yeah, whatever's most important to you guys, this could be the life-changing moment if you allow it to be.
I truly believe that as well, and I also have those programs I look back to and like, oh my God, if I didn't went through that, imagine where I would have been. Imagine, like, and the cool thing is that you don't, like, literally, you don't risk anything. We take all the risk, and I mean, if it's scary, it's just a indicator that it's a good thing. If you're kind of feeling a little bit shaky now or nervous and excited at the same time, that's the sign. That's the sign. Like, if you can take act, there's gonna be times in life when you get that feeling that you have right now, and you're gonna be like faced with an opportunity to take action towards your vision, and a big action, which is also an investment or a commitment. But if you're not going to be able to do that, then you're gonna continue to feel or have or be the way that you are today, right? If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, I'll tell you this from a business perspective and from a personal growth perspective. You can't be a leader and you can't live the life that you want to live if you can't make decisions and you can't take action, especially when there's tough decisions to be made. Right. So I'll give you a direct example. One of the programs that I invested in that changed my life the most was a mentorship program for my business that I got into with Max Simon maybe about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And I spent $6,000 on it. I made the decision to do so after talking with Max for literally 1 minute. And he told me, I got this program, I think it's perfect for you. So I'll give you the backstory a little bit, right? I was at this mastermind, this private mastermind, where I had the opportunity to sit on the hot seat and have 10, 12 businessmen listen to me and what's going on in my business and give me advice. And these guys all make 7-figure, 8-figure, 9 figures a year, right? Wow. And so I really took their advice to heart because, well, these guys are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They probably know a little something, right? So they said, here's the 2 things you need to do. You need to leave the business that you're, because I was in 2 businesses at the same time, and they said, you need to leave this one, it's holding you back. And they said, and you need to go out and hire a coach and pay more than you think you can afford to pay. That was their 2 advices, right? So I was like, okay, cool. And then Max, who was one of the guys at that, he runs a 7-figure business, and he said, hey man, I got to be honest, I think you're perfect for this program I'm doing. I talked to him about it for about 1 minute, and I said, how much is it? He said, $6,000. I thought for about 20 seconds. I felt into my intuition. I felt that excitement. I remembered the advice. Okay, I need to get a coach, and I need to pay more than I think I can afford to pay. Cool, let's do it. Right, and I said yes to it in literally like 1 minute. Right, I said yes to a $6,000 program when I had $2,500 in the bank. Right?
That's awesome. That's impressive.
Yeah, and then that comes from, and the universe just figures itself out around you. You make a decision, you make it important, and you figure the rest out. Right? That's coming from an empowered place of creating. Like, I'll create more money. I'll get for people who don't own their own business and who have a fixed income. Great. Like, you can enroll 20 friends in all putting $10 on their credit card for you, and you've paid for it, and that'll be a transformational experience. Just reach.
For sure. I think I lost you there.
For your education with a 6-month promise to pay. Like, there's a million different ways to generate money if money is your thing. It all comes back to, and just so you know, in I think it's week 7 or week 7 of the program, I teach you how to trust your intuition to that degree where you can make decisions that are that life-changing with that level of certainty and in that short a period of time. And I teach you multiple techniques for tapping into your inner guidance that way. So right now it might be a tough thing for you to do, but I make huge decisions, multi-$1,000 decisions that affect people's entire livelihood, hirings, and all these things all come from my intuition, and they all happen very quickly. And that's something that will add to your confidence and who you are as a man. So a little bit of a tangent there.
yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead.
I think that's a very important aspect because when you learn and to be that kind of spontaneous but at the same time confident in your decisions, change is going to become so rapid, right? And that's what I see in you, is that your change is so rapid, and like every time I see you, like you have this new edge or this new way of being and ideas and view of life, and it's just inspiring, man.
Thanks, man. And so we got a question coming in from Sebastian asking if you have to pay the $297 instantly. Have we created any kind of payment option, maybe like a 2-payment thing or 3 is that possible? I don't know, because Morten's handling payments on this.
Yeah, I haven't done that, but Sebastian, what I want you to do is email me, and hold on, I'm gonna write my email here. Yeah, email me at Morten Haugum Hake, which is spelled MortenHaugumHake at gmail.com, and I'll just send me your challenge, and we'll figure it out. I mean, if you take like what we hear in our company called the fuck it decision, like the decision that is like a congruent, strong decision, and there's like no plan B decision. And you want to do this, and you want to step up your life, and we'll figure out a solution for you to get this package, Sebastian. For
Cool.
sure.
So then Charlie typed in and said, "What if we're already paid for the True Man Academy?" I gotta I can't personally offer out the Morten Hake summits to that. I don't think that is necessarily fair to the people who are stepping up tonight for this special. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Morten? Would that be something that you'd be able to do for the guys who are on this webinar and are already part of True Man Academy?
If they're action takers, I want to do that. I mean, if they are taking massive action in their life and following their vision, sure.
Cool.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. So then I think the same thing to do would be send an email into your Gmail address.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just realized that I have another easier email, so I'll just write that as well. It's I mean, you can send email to either one of them. The other email, if you choose to do that, is morten@mortenhakesummit.com. That's much more easy than my Norwegian hard to spell name.
Yeah. Well, yeah, copy and paste.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there any other questions, guys, before we kind of wrap up here? Happy to field some, or Morten is too, I'm sure.
All right. If you have any questions, just email me, and I'll answer them. And thank you so much for doing this, Noah. And thank you guys for bearing through the technical issues and clicking the YouTube link and all that. I'll definitely. I have learned a lot, and we're gonna analyze and figure out how to do it much more smoothly next time. But anyways, I feel that we delivered, and I feel that you delivered very, very much today, Noah. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you all for being here, and I hope to see you guys in the True Man Academy.
All right.
Peace.